This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by David Diamante here in Las Vegas. David, how are you?
Hey, Andy, it's great to see you. It's a huge fight week. We're at the fight capital of the world. It's what they call Las Vegas, and the MGM Grand Arena. This is the place. So it's a huge fight this weekend, WBC Lightweight Championship of the World, and I'm excited.
David, we witnessed history made on this past weekend. A lot to live up for Devin Haney versus Joseph Diaz, but what do you expect to see this coming weekend between the pair of them?
Well, that was an incredible fight last week. Madison Square Garden was it was on fire, and it was an amazing fight, and it goes to show you, man, we've seen so many upsets. Sandor Martin against Mikey Garcia. We just saw Kid Galahad against get stopped against Kiko Martinez, even Terry Harper and Alicia Baumgardner. So there's been a lot of upsets. Maybe it's the year of upsets. So Devin Haney's got his work cut out for him. Joseph Diaz is an Olympian. He's a southpaw. He's a former world champion. He had the IBF super featherweight strap. He's a tough customer, and he's coming to win. He's not just coming as a challenge. He's the challenger, but he's coming to win. So they believe in him. Jojo seems very focused this week. But I will tell you this. Devin Haney is switched on. And I think we're going to see an incredible performance. I'm looking forward to a great fight.
George Kambosos has said to the media this week, it's not necessarily just Devin Haney next, it's whoever impresses him the most. So you've got Devin and Jojo tomorrow, Tank on Sunday, Loma Comi next weekend. It's whoever puts out more of a statement. So for both of these guys tomorrow, how much more pressure does that put on either of them to make that statement, to potentially line up that undisputed bout heading into 2022?
Well, Andy, I think you just said it right there. I mean, this is the thing. First of all, these are very bright lights. These are the biggest stages in the world. So these guys are fighting in front of millions of people. So either way, the lights are always bright, and there's a lot of pressure on all these fighters to perform. But there is one piece of the pie that's people are disputing about, whether you're in the camp of saying, no, Teofimo was undisputed, now Kambosos is undisputed. Or whether you think Devin Haney has the WBC regular belt, or whatever camp you're in, there is a dispute. There is a dispute. And so whoever wins on Saturday night will have that final piece of the pie to be really undisputed. And so I think that's the real prize, because whoever can put all four pieces together without any dispute. Because some people, again, say that Kambosos is now undisputed, and I'm not going to say whether I think he is or not. It's just not. It's not for me to say. I'm not a sanctioning body. It's not what I do. But either way, I think they're great champions, both of them, and I think we'd all love to see that fight. And if it happens in Australia, I got a lot of buddies down there. I love Australia, and I can't wait to go back. It's a great place. So it would be amazing to do that in Sydney.
That was going to be my next question. George said he wants his next fight to be in Australia. He said Haney has to come if he was to be successful. For yourself and a work perspective, how amazing would it be to introduce the fighters in front of 80,000 fans, as George has so openly spoken about?
I mean, the Aussies are an unbelievable people. They're spirited. They really back their charges. It would be unreal. And Australia boxing's at a high right now. Whether you're talking about Zhu or Bridges or Horn, there's so many good fighters down in Australia. So it would be unreal. I think we could put together a great card down there.
Just away from that, just a couple on the undercard to get your thoughts on Montana Love's debut. How excited are you to see him making his matchroom debut for what could be a big 2022 for himself?
Well, Montana Love's an interesting guy. I'm about to do a podcast with him, from Cleveland, undefeated. He has a draw. He does have a draw with Kenneth Sims Jr., But Montana Love is an exciting fighter, and he's got some skills, and he really believes in himself. Too pretty, calls himself too pretty, because he, back in the day, used to slap box, and he said he never got hit, so he was too pretty. But he's an interesting character. He's got a lot of personality. He's got different businesses that he's doing. He's kind of in the rap game. He's doing all kinds of different stuff. But really, we're worried about the fight game, and he's got a tough test ahead of him with Chuka. So 29-1. He's a tough fighter. He could have taken maybe an easier touch. He just fought Baranchik. He stopped Baranchik, which is not an easy task. So I think Montana Love is really he wants to get fast-tracked, and depending on how he looks on Saturday, we'll see. But maybe 140 pounds right now, man, there's a lot. That's about to be the. I mean, if you don't already think it's an on-fire division, obviously we've got Josh Taylor as the king. He might move up after Catterall, but then there's just a lot of different guys that might be coming into that. Obviously, Teofimo Lopez said he's leaving 135. Devin Haney might be moving up. You just never know. There's a lot of guys that could meet there. And of course, there was that sparring session between Montana Love and Gervonta Davis. So there's little spiciness, you know. It's a little picante. So, you know, hey, look, man, there's a lot of good fights. And I think Montana Love's a dog. So, you know, he brought his dog, but we'll see if he's the dog. You know, he got, like I said, he's fighting a tough guy. A tough Mexican fighter. So we'll see. We'll see if he can get the job done. We'll see what it looks like.
Up at heavyweight, the return of El Animal, Filip Hrgović. Eddie said openly he's one of the hardest men that he works with to try and match. What type of statement does he need to make tomorrow? You know, he's spoken openly of potential Zhilei Zhang fight for him next year. We saw last week once again as well.
Yeah, they're talking about him and John Gillette. You know, I think there's Montana Love right here. Come on, you can come on in for a second. I was just talking about you. We got you on the pod right here, and I was saying you brought your dog. But Saturday, we're going to see if you are the dog.
Absolutely. You know I'm the dog.
I know that.
You know, we prove it every time and time again. You know, from the showbox fights, you know, taking risks that most fighters wouldn't take early on in their career, to the Ivan fight, you know, to get me here now.
You know, this guy's from Cleveland. It's a great city, the Forest City, and it's a hell of a place. A lot of great fighters came out of there, and from Ohio in general. But you know, been through some tough stuff, and it shows now with the toughness that you show in the ring. And we're really excited to have you here on Matchroom and making your debut on Saturday.
I appreciate that. I'm very excited, you know, to be here. Very excited to put on the show, give you guys, you know, and the fans, you know, great entertainment and a great fight.
That is one thing I like about you, you know, whether it's take a pick, you know, the rap game that you're playing with, or bringing the dog or whatever, you know, you do it in your own style, and it's flash and it's natural, and I like that, and that's what the fight game needs. You know, you got to have the dog in you, but you also got to have that swag. So, and you bringing that, and you know, we're going to see on Saturday. Tough opponent. You didn't have to take such a tough opponent, but you did.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that. You know, we just want to stay busy, show that we're ready for whoever and whatever that comes our way.
All right, cool. I'm going to catch you in a second for that podcast.
I appreciate it.
So, yeah, El Animal, he's hard to match because he can fight and he can punch, and he's a big guy. He has a fighter mentality. He's from Croatia. He's from Zagreb. You know, obviously, we know there's a man also, a great Croat fighter that we love from the Balkans. That's Mr. Alen Babic, the Savage, who hopefully we will see him very soon because he's very exciting. And he, for some reason, really doesn't like Filip Hrgović. Now, I don't know if that fight will ever get made. It might be a little bit too early in Alan's career to face Hrgović, but Hrgović is a formidable opponent. And I don't know, you know, you see this with a lot of fighters. Like we see Regis Prograis here. He's at 140. That guy is a high-risk, low-reward fighter. You know, that's why no one wants to fight him. And I feel like Hrgović kind of falls into that category. So if he can make a great statement on Saturday, maybe his name will start being talked about and get him up there, and he can get those big fights that he needs, because he needs to be in that mix.
All right, David, I think Montana Love stopping by then is the perfect way for us to end this, so you can go and do your proper job, and I appreciate your time as always, so I'll leave you now to crack on with your work. A pleasure to see you, David. Thank you for speaking to me in Boxing Social.
Thank you, Andy, and we'll see you next week in Liverpool.
Well, no, you won't do. I'm actually staying out here until December 20th.
Oh, wow.
So Loma Comey next week, and then Jake and Tommy on the 18th.
Okay, great. Well, look, enjoy that, and have a great holiday, and have a great New Year. We'll catch you then.
You too, David. Enjoy the holiday festivities. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Bye.